Superlegitivision, the future of podcasting. It's .com.
Hello, I'm
Menoth John.
and I'd like to welcome you. First of all, let me take just a moment to thank you for allowing me back into your homes. If this is your first time with us, let me extend a personal invitation for you to drag out your
miniatures
and paint along with us each week. Let's go over to the canvas here and let's get started. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. I believe, every day's a good day when you paint. I believe, it'll bring a lot of good thoughts to your heart. Let's build a happy little cloud. Let's build some happy little trees. There are no limits here. Start out by believing here. You can almost paint with anything. All you have to do is practice.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, all you've got to do is practice, make perfect, and at 202 episodes of this shit show, we ought to be up to something by now. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday night, and that means that it is all right. We are here at the broadcast den here at Painting with Menoth John, Broadcast Central. You know us, you love us, you're here on a Wednesday, and of course with me in the catbird seat, you know him, you love him, he's the wind beneath my wing, the mighty right hand of the podcast, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. John Spencer.
Hey-o.
Goddamn camera's backwards, I'm never going to adjust to this again. And of course we have a special guest in the broadcast tomb tonight. You love him, you know him. He is of course my son, Troll Chuck.
That's me.
Yeah, it's him. We have a very exciting episode tonight, John.
Oh, snap, yeah.
Tonight is you're going to hear Menoth John. I know I pointed Legionnaires. I could do it because he's literally sitting next to me, whereas there's no virtual cue as to where John is supposed to be. There's like if I pointed to where he is on the setup monitor, he's over there, which is entirely the wrong place. Which means I could take this part of the screen and move that there and move John over here. Only let me tell you, as bad as I do of like setting up all of this, that if I were to change something, oh yeah, not gonna work. Not even a little bit. Mm-mm. So, Legionnaires, can you hear John Spencer? John Spencer, say hello to Legionnaires.
Hello, Legionnaires.
I hope that you heard that. And hopefully you were able to hear Troll Chuck.
That's me.
Okay. If you can hear those people and they sound correct, I would appreciate some feedback because the cats walked on the mixing board again. And literally anything could be happening. John, did you know that we're up to 6 viewers right now?
Oh, snap, 6?
6.
That's awesome.
I discovered something this week, John.
Uh-oh. What's that?
I've started using them Instagrams.
Instagrams.
Yeah,
oh, my God.
Instagram. And that's where you take the picture and you put the checkerboards. And
The number sign.
Yeah, the number sign. I went number sign miniature painting. And I went number sign painting. And people looked at my shit.
Should do number side heckin' good.
Imagine if the politicians got a hold of this kind of technology, John.
I don't think it's a good idea.
I think it's a terrible idea. Troll Chuck, what's your opinion on politicians using them Instagrams?
I don't know, man. I don't use the Instagrams.
You're not allowed to because there's suggestive pictures of young women on there. Yeah, so maybe I've just driven them to the Instagrams. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, we have a very special show for you tonight. But before we get into the meat and taters, as we are like to call it around here, John, we've been calling it meat and taters since at least 30, 40 seconds ago.
Yeah.
And, John, I've always said that on this show, the callback is the highest form of podcasting professionalism. You know that, right?
Indeed.
Yeah. I mean, we've known that. Troll Chuck knows this. That's why tonight, folks, we're heading into the fall. It's 60 degrees outside. Yeah, Warlock from Southern Tier. It's a beer. It's a bitchy little beer. It's an Imperial pumpkin stout. Tips the scales at 8.6 alcohol by volume. I'm not sure you can buy this beer in Iowa or such places of temperance such as that. they're afraid of it. They when they see the warlock, John, they say no, thank you. So, what's in that imperial? That imperial is warlock, folks. This is an imperial stout. It is Pumpkin's evil brother. And
shit, that's right. It's fall almost. We could have pumpkin.
That's right. So you can get your Jackal Blaster or whatever the shit that was from Captain Morgan's. And
yes, I think it was. I mean, I guess I'm gonna have to finish the Apple Smash first.
I would finish that Apple Smash if I were you. But let me take a little. We'll do tasting notes after, of course, you say what you're having on tonight's show, John.
Well, I ran out of the cherry vodka, so I have regular vodka mixed with cran vodka. Or cran cherry, sorry.
Okay. Well, there you go. And you're mixing it in what's your wash? Oh, you're just drinking it. Good for you. That's good. Yep. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, and Chuck, you're not having anything right now, right?
No.
Okay.
No.
Did you want to go get a soda?
No, I'm good.
All right.
No.
Cool. All right. Anyway, so, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the last season of 2020, kind of. I mean, winter is technically at the very end of December. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're one season closer to getting done with this goddamn year. On behalf of the Pain with Menoth John show, may it be the best fall ever. Hey, Ron.
Ron.
Smooth. Dark. It's got a nice lot of chocolate, a lot of bitter, dark chocolate flavor. Got that pumpkin going on in there. Yeah.
Well,
so
my ice cubes are melted, so mine's very tame.
Well, that's fine. But you've got it's still a glass of alcohol.
No, it's mixed with cran cherry.
Oh, cran cherry. Okay, I'm sorry. I thought.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There's a little much on the vodka. I finished the bottle because I'm like, it's just a little bit left.
Existential dread will do that shit to you.
Turn into a lot.
Yep. Groovy, welcome. New face in the chat room there. We love new members of the Brushhead Nation, so welcome. Here's to you, Groovy.
It's been around before, but it's been a while.
Oh, it's been a while. Then I'm sorry that I didn't recognize you, my friend. Hey, Ron.
Ron. Chuck, you can't drink the mic.
No, I can't.
No, don't drink the mic. But that was Stop that. That was very disturbing.
You're not wrong.
Let's not do that again,
right.
ever.
Yeah, gotcha.
So, tonight, folks, we mistakes. Oh God, last I was on, you were painting Retribution. Shit, that's a whole relationship ago. That predates Belinda Librarian. That's amazing.
You painted some here or there because you're keeping 100%.
Fair enough. So, folks, on tonight's show, I have to say that I was wrong, John. I don't know how else to put it. I just don't know how to put it. When people, when the president underestimated, or should I say, lied to the American people around the COVID and how potentially dangerous it was, has he said I was wrong or that I was sorry? Has he said that? No, he hasn't said that. He doesn't know how to say. He doesn't understand the word of I'm sorry or I was wrong. I was wrong. And I think, John, you were in a very similar place about Riot Quest.
I was a little more positive about it, but with no one to play it, I wasn't really interested.
Yep. I was quite negative on it. I'll be the first to admit it. I thought that it was cartoonish. I thought it was silly. And nor did I recognize that it was exactly what the COVID pandemic needed. A silly, fun game that has no strategic value whatsoever and is more or less random as shit. It is. So tonight, folks,
So it's a hoot.
I am going to say that Riot Quest might be the most fun I've ever had playing a miniatures game.
Oh, shit.
In 10 years, I know, I made Chuck gasp. I played War Machine heavily for over a decade, and we've all the trials and tribulations, John, with Menoth John and Privateer Press, Menoth John with the game of War Machine and Hordes, it's well documented. Well, I mean, Literally, there's 202 episodes that pretty much deal with that drama, ongoing drama.
I think whatever's left of VH1 is working on a behind the podcast for your whole thing, just so they can tell the real story.
That's right. We got a whole team on that.
The Great War.
So, but along came Riot Quest, and it was billed as this. I think that they sold it too zany. I think it was a little too zany in their marketing approach. But the game's zany, and it's silly.
Well, to be fair, marketing is definitely not their strong suit.
You could be right about that. You could be right about that.
They had a winner on their hands. They didn't market it. I mean,
yep.
Iron Company, is that it called?
Company of Iron.
Company of Iron.
Company of Iron, yeah.
I had the right words, wrong order.
I mean, Company of Iron is a better game than War Machine, and it's more fun because it's shorter. Legionnaires says that I like that Riot Quest boss is like fighting a WoW raid boss. From what I've seen, that is a good for former World of Warcraft addicts. They want to fix but don't want to go back. Good point, Legionnaires.
Yep.
So that's Melvin and Mayhem, I believe, is that expansion, and I think it's releasing this month. Check me if I'm wrong on that, by the way.
Exciting.
And I'm going to try and get it because Dark Legacy, Travis, had recommended that I do so after he found out that I actually liked this game after having, played it. Because, it's really super fair to dish on something when you've never, ever played it, which is exactly what I was doing.
To defend you a little bit, not that you need it because you're taking a big culpa, but when they sell something a certain way and you bag on it for being perceived a certain way, that's kind of fair.
It is.
But
it is.
if you play something, that's when you get the chance to revise your opinion.
It is, but I also need to be very cognizant of the fact that what I should have done was I could have bagged on the marketing. And then said, listen, I'm going to bag on the marketing on this. Let me play the game and see if it's worth a shit.
Right.
And I never did it. I never did. I had the opportunity. I had Travis and I had Mr. Wonky asking me to play it, and I shunned it. To play War Machine.
That was probably about the point you probably should have given it a shot.
You're damn right, and I was wrong.
When buddies are like, you should try this, it's fun.
Oh, they went so far as to say it's freaking hysterical. It's amazing, and I didn't do it. It was a long drive. I had my bag full of miniatures. I wanted to play with Randy Culp, which I mean, it's a good reason to play a game of War Machine is when you're playing against Randy Culp because he's freaking amazing. But what I didn't realize, John, is that this was waiting for me, and you can see the Leadfoot and Treads, which I have now finished painting up. This is exactly what my hobby needed, was this game. Every one of these miniatures is characterful. It's cute. It's their typical Privateer Press detail job on them. It's beautiful. This is and the rules are the rules of Riot Quest are everything I remember good about War Machine and Hordes. If you remember back in the day when we both got into War Machine and Hordes, what was the one thing you could say about that game? Everything's broken. So as long as everything's broken, nothing's broken.
Nothing is. Yep.
Amen.
And that is what Riot Quest is. Riot Quest is a small card of ridiculous rules that it doesn't matter because you're going to get your model back in 1 or 2 rounds anyway, and you're going to be stomping around with the best version of Butcher, the best version of Fiora, not that I can pronounce anything right now, and then a pig, 2 pigs in a tank. Come on. War Machine's been hurting for 2 pigs in a tank forever, and now it exists. So
that reminds me of some vintage, like late '80s, early '90s Games Workshop stuff. That old sense of humor had.
Yeah, if you look at the sense of humor that gave us games like Blood Bowl, that's what's here. It's crazy, irreverent, stupid fun. It's a Metal Slug tank. It absolutely is a Metal Slug tank.
Yeah.
It's 100% a Metal Slug tank. But the thing that's super... So not to punch a hornet's nest, but what happened to War Machine? I got 2 box armies that I don't need. War Machine is suffering... War Machine is not dead. War Machine is suffering from a bad case of the COVID. I mean...
It had the Mark III 3rd edition, most recent edition release was not great. And it just lost players because GW was stronger. GW was putting out, dare I say, a better product at that point, listening to their customers better.
Yeah, John, I think you and I would both agree with the following statement I'm about to make. I think that War Machine became a game that, as dedicated as I was of the game, staying ahead of its rule churn was not possible anymore.
Yeah, it's not.
The CID, there's a couple cancers that killed, for me, the game of War Machine. One of them was the CID process, which had all the best intentions. All the best intentions. Because
it sounds great on paper.
It sure does. But the community integrated design caused rules to change across such a broad number of models so frequently that my War Machine games turned into a long session of your model does what? It followed by my army being lifted off the table because I didn't understand how that worked. The other cancer was theme armies. Yeah,
and their inability to express at the beginning of Mark III that was the way forward.
Yeah.
We were all starting off a certain way, and they're not balanced. They've tried hard. I think this last time they changed it so that it really depends. The free models depend on, or what tier you get of the abilities depends on how many points you're playing. Is a great idea, but I think it was the right amount, but it was too late.
Yeah. Legionnaires brings up an interesting point, and this is becoming less of a painting show right now than it is necessarily a discussion, but I think that's fine. I mean, our shows vary in format from he actually painted something, holy fuck, to, regardless. But the Legionnaires, actually, it wasn't against Tharn. I can tell you the moment that I died in War Machine and Hordes, and that was against a Scorn army that was the all-immortal army. And the all-immortal army had some real gotchas in it. If you didn't understand how ridiculous that army could... I think it was a regeneration or if it was a toughness or something like that. But it was just, hey, Bowie, welcome.
We say War Machine and Buika shows up.
I know, it's like I summoned him. This is
even tell him.
Yeah, high five, Bowie. Thanks for joining the show. Soul recursion. Thank you, Bowie. You know what? That's what... We summoned Bowie, and he had the answer. That's amazing.
Perfect.
So that moment, I came back to the game to play in a steamroller, and it was. This is before Games Universe moved up to their new store new stores. This is back when they were back in New Berlin, and it just. I spent 3 rounds, and I finally said, dude, I don't want you to take this the wrong way at all because you're a great guy. You're a sportsman. I am no longer interested in playing this game against you. I would be much happier to sit down and drink a soda with you and just talk because this game is already over and continuing to roll dice against this is only going to increase my frustration, which is not why I play games. So...
I think the moment it died for me was when someone started putting down, measuring and putting down, and measuring and putting down things, and measuring from those things. And he spent like 30 fucking minutes measuring shit and putting stuff down while I'm just watching him to see if he could kill me.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? While pre-measuring is good for most games, I don't think it's good for this game. And I don't think this game is what I want to play anymore.
Yeah, and you know what? That's fine.
Exact moment.
Yeah, Token Apocalypse.
Next round of the tournament, we played against some fans. It was a family who were all fans of Painting with Not John, and we had a good time because they were just playing to play.
Yep.
It was a great game, but you're not going to find a lot of those because the people who are left they want to play War Machine for its, let's say for its merits, and its merits no longer interest me.
Fair enough, 100%. You know, there's Tel'Kazar. I could play a game against Tel'Kazar. No problem. I played against Matt Dessou. He's a hell of a gentleman. I could play against Randy Culp. I could play against either of the Wonkies. Even Dave is more competitive than Matt. But I could play against even today. It would end quickly, but I could even play against Travis. But I could play Riot Quest with any of them and be completely satisfied with the result no matter what it is, because I got to do something stupid during the course of that game. What's up, Hailboot? Welcome. This is the game for me. And I'm gonna put the face cam back up. This is why I brought the Chuckster onto the show. So I thought before we got into the painting and stuff, John, I thought that it would be good because I believe you have not yet played the game, correct?
I have not. Bowie owns a copy, but COVID makes that difficult.
I get that. And Bowie is, you'd have to take the COVID into account, of course, if you were to play a face-to-face with him. So let me tell you some really great things. John, I am going to take this opportunity, Charles and I, to try to convince you to give this a shot. Because I purchased this meeting. I purchased this model, because I wanted to paint a model. I needed something for the show.
Absolutely.
And I've heard that he's good in War Machine. Don't give a fuck anymore. But I wanted to paint him because he's characterful.
Mm-hmm.
And then pretty soon that turned into I probably get
Captain Crawfish.
Captain Crawfish or Crawdad? Crawtooth. Yeah, Crawtooth. Yeah. He's a gator. He gives Gatorman no sleeping on the job. Seems
really
good to me. He's super useful in War Machine. And then I said, then I drank a bunch of whiskey, and I went online, as you do.
Uh-oh.
And then I had the box set, and then I realized I didn't have enough heroes to play a 2-player game, because you need 5 per side, and then I ended up with 11 heroes. But that's fine. So John, the key thing to remember in this game is that you're going to 7 points. You can score a point by killing a dude, which isn't really killing. You're sending him to a cooler where he cools out. It's like gaming with the cooler. He spends maybe a turn or two over there. You have to roll dice to get him out, whatever. But you have 6 action dice. It is the action dice system from Monpok. So you've got the special explosy dice. John, this is the first miniatures game I have played 90% correct the first time I ever played it.
Oh, snap.
Which is, that's a testament to how easy the rules are.
It really is.
It is.
When Charles and I play, we have 11 heroes, and you want 5 each. Okay? You could have more, but we do 5 because that's the 4 is the most you'll ever have on the table at a time. What we do is we put all the heroes on the table, and then we do a draft of picking, like we're playing dodgeball. I grab a hero, he grabs a hero, or vice versa, and we go until we each have 5. Mm-hmm. And then there's usually an odd man out, and that's either usually Chuck Dogwood or Fiora.
Poor Chuck Dogwood.
Yeah, Fiora, by the way, way better in War Machine than she is in the Riot Quest for me, but maybe your mileage may vary. So then you get to choose your Riot gear, which are like a little hand of as many heroes as you just picked. That's how many Riot gears you get to pick, which are like power-ups. You can only put one of them on a hero at a time.
And this is where it gets fun.
Exactly. Because characters like the Butcher, when he charges, he gets an extra power die, the red die, the good one, for every wound that is on him. Plus 1 because he charged, another one. Then he has a thing, he can get another one if you put a Riot gear on him. So pretty soon he's just the murdering bastard you remember from War Machine and Hordes. The way we do this, he who shall not be named on this podcast, I'm glad he's enjoying it with his daughter. We do a draft on that. Then there's a treasure deck, and there's a bounty deck. So you gain victory points, of which you need 7. in two different ways. You can get a bounty, which is you fulfill some wacky random like objective.
Like robbing somebody, which
Right.
is just walking up to somebody, rolling some dice, and seeing if you actually steal money from them. You could be holding a bomb near a teleporting spot, and if you fail the roll, you get dealt like 2 damage.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can disarm a goblin, whatever the hell that means. And you're holding the goblin, and then you disarm it.
Okay.
Yeah, you clunk it on its head.
Disarm him, but it's got one less arm.
Exactly. Disarm. We have to disarm him twice. Then I would guess. And then you get one for killing a dude. And so you got a little bit of combat. You got some strategic stuff, and some of the characters are better. This clown keeps getting this guy Slubnik or whatever his name is, the frog.
Yeah. Let's talk about Riot Gear and how overpowered it can be. There's this guy called Flugwug. His entire thing is getting treasure chests.
He's got a tongue.
Yeah.
It grabs treasure real good.
Yes, you can grab treasure from 3 spots away.
But wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. There is a Riot Gear called the Magnetic Glove. The Magnetic Glove can bring treasure chests towards you. Any amount of treasure chest spawners. There's like these around the map. There's like these spawners that spawn treasure chests.
Marked 1 through 6.
You can bring them as close to you as possible, which means if I do it right, which doesn't normally happen, I can bring the treasure chest towards me from across the map and get it from 3 spaces away. And also, he has a high defense.
So Clown sits with his magnetic thing, sucking every treasure chest on the board towards him, and then he sucks it in with his tongue, unless I go over and deal with his hard-to-hit rear end. The butcher even has trouble killing this stupid frog.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and but everything's like that. I mean, the butcher rolling all the dice on the table, Leadfoot and Treads rolling up and rolling like all these dice if he gets up in point blank range. Crawtooth throwing a hook as a melee weapon and pulling you over and rolling all these damn dice at you, and it's like, oh my god, it's amazing.
Oh, also, you can heal after you do an attack, and
He's
one
got
of the
snacking.
Yeah, snacking. And there's this charm that allows him to hit twice.
Mhm.
If you move once, that means that you have like 3 red dice at least, and you can do that twice.
Yeah, so you're gonna kill. Most people's stamina are either 3 or 4. There's occasionally 2.
Yeah.
And there are 2 different defense values on every card. One is you do 1 wound or you do 2 wounds. Well, Crawtooth can do 2 wounds relatively trivially, and being able to throw it twice is a big deal. So, but it's all like that. I think now that we kind of know the rules pretty good, Charles. A game takes maybe 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe
at
30,
most.
and you just knock it out, and it's so worth having a game to be able to play with models that are this cute. So
Not have it be stupid. I'm talking about you, Super Dungeon Quest.
Yeah,
whatever your
Super Dungeon
name is.
Explorer.
Yeah,
Super
close
Dungeon
enough.
Explorer can die in the fire.
Explorer's got one ginormous flaw,
It's the rule
and that is
book.
the table generate flaw.
The what?
You can have a table general tell everyone what to do, just like a lot of games.
Yeah.
It's the biggest flaw, unfortunately.
Yeah. I think in my mind, Charles, and maybe you disagree, I like this game better than Monpok.
I really like Monpok, but I also like this, so they're on the same level, honestly.
That's fair.
Fair. That's fair, man. The reason I don't care, I like this better than Monpok is Monpok so many times degenerates into how many buildings can I throw this dude into? and once all the building, it seems a little. I wish maybe I've missed it, and I should talk to one of my buddies, Chris, about the units and how to more effectively use the units. But have I looked at the Season 2 crew from Kickstarter? Yes, and I have bought into that Kickstarter as a late pledge. The pledge manager is now unfortunately closed. I apologize for not getting ahead of this. But I got the base box, the starter set. I got the neoprene mat for the winter scene, and I picked up one of the dudes, and I don't even remember what the hell it was.
It was the Boonhowler, right?
No, I didn't pick up Boomhauler in that one.
Oh.
It was a different. Oh, the Wolf with No Name. I picked up.
Oh, yeah, now I'm no longer confused. That's right. They're kickstarting everything.
Yeah, they are, because Privateer Press is not in great financial
honestly,
shape.
No, honestly, in the COVID, they're actually ahead of the game because that's the way to keep yourself solvent in the COVID. I mean, I cannot fault anyone right now. All my Kickstarter complaints are shelved. It's the COVID. Not everyone's getting money in. I understand.
Yep, cool. No, I get it.
Yeah.
So, folks, I'm going to probably cut Troll Chuck loose here. Appreciate your contributions to the show.
Yeah.
I'm going to give Riot Quest a solid one shot of Kraken. Now, you come up with your own scale because I don't want to hear any Kraken coming out of your mouth.
Got you, partner.
But it is hysterical and fun. And, guys, if you've got somebody to play with and you're still wanting to play, it is as good a Beer and Pretzels miniatures game as you will ever find.
I'll have to see if Banyan would come out of the Banyan cave for that.
Just get him to do it once. It's so much fun.
See how hard that is?
Yeah. Get a crowbar. Chuck, your review?
Yeah, I will give it 5 stupid toad that steals my treasure chest every round
F that
out
toad.
of 10.
F that toad.
All right.
All right. So thank you, Charles. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thanks for being part of the show. And yep, you're gonna take your headset, and I'll take this and
now you got 2 mics.
unplug it so it doesn't cause unnecessary heartbreak.
Yeah.
Throw that over there. Ah, yes. Welcome to the wonders of live broadcasting. Pull that out of here, would you?
I'm trying to.
Oh my God, you're so
I'm getting
Jesus
to it.
Palomino. What was that? Oh, that's the wire. Okay, got it. All right, kids.
Thinking I'm breaking everything.
All right, so let me get readjusted here, folks.
Subjected.
The I had planned on painting Leadfoot and Treads on the show.
Well, good job. You did it in advance.
It just sort of happened. So I'm gonna take my glasses off here, and we're gonna put on some lights because that's what we do. And turn on
I was
this light.
going to paint some, or even matte varnish some models, but I have decided that drink was slightly aggressive, and that would be a poor choice. So I will skip it.
All right, so I'm going to put on the painting cam. Good idea. That's fine. And this is the Butcher. This is the Butcher's model. This is Orsus the something or other. Doesn't matter. It's Butcher.
Butcher.
This is the Butcher with no shirt, is what it boils down to. So, folks, I want to introduce you to my new Lord and Savior. This is White Ink. Mr. Will Pagani, you know him from Privateer as well as Marvel Crisis Protocol fame.
I was actually trying to remember the name of the podcast you used to be on. I don't even remember.
It was the one with
It's
Dallas.
been that long.
Shake Your Bits? No. I
don't even Road to War. Thank you, Legionnaires.
what was it called?
Wow.
Road to
Road
War?
to War.
Oh yeah, but there was the other one too that he did with Dallas. It was a painting one.
Oh God.
Paint Your Ass? Something like that.
Gosh.
So this is, I've got 3 models here that to paint.
Faces and bases.
Faces and bases. Thank you. So what this is actually the War Machine model, and I am not. This is a pig tank. The other one is Leadfoot and Treads. This is a pig tank. The difference is that the little hatch. The hatch is closed on a pig tank. It is open with Leadfoot sticking out of it on a Leadfoot and Treads. This is one of the treasure chests. When you get Flugwug, the frog, you get 6 resin treasure chests that you can use on Riot Quest. That otherwise you're using tokens. And then this is the Butcher. So, folks, we've done a lot of diluted and doing glazes and stuff like that on the show. And but what I've done maybe not as good a job of on the show is doing sketching, where we actually use a white or a white ink in this case to really bring the highlights up on the model before you went ahead and paint. So I'm interested in working on the butch tonight, although I could make some really good progress on this token here. Let's do a little bit.
What's the material of all those guys? They're all resin still? Are they actual resin or are they restic?
This is restic. This one is metal. This is kind of resin. I don't. Maybe it's resin, but this was. If this is resin, this is the worst quality resin I've ever seen. But it's working out okay.
I mean, for terrain and all, it's fine. You don't need it to be perfect.
This is the resin. This is the PP resin that primer doesn't want to stick to.
Oh.
So let me. This is actually a bit of a tale of sorrow on this one. So this is I tried to use the Vallejo surface primer on this one because I'd gotten done using styrolines on these guys through my airbrush, and they worked as perfect. But I'd cleaned it up, and I had it all packed away and everything. It's like, fuck, I forgot to do the goddamn treasure. So I said, well, I'll just surface prime this.
It laughed at it.
So I tried it at first, and I was like, well, that didn't fucking work. And I said, well, maybe it had mold release on it. So I went over to the sink over there, and I put some Dawn dish soap and a toothbrush, and I tried to clean it up. And I came over here and tried the surface primer again, and went. So I put a coat on it. I let it sit. Put another coat on it, and now it's fine. And I zenithal shaded it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of this white, the white ink, and I am going to sketch up the highlights on it.
Well, since everyone's going to ask, John, what company makes that white ink you're using?
So the white ink that I'm using is the one that Will Pagani recommended, and this is Daler, D-A-L-E-R, and Rowney, R-O-W-N-E-Y, and this is their acrylic ink. Okay? So let me put the bottle down here again. It says FW. It's like I can't imagine what that stands for, but FW, fuckwit, because you can fuck with your model with it. And I purchased it on Amazon because that's where everything comes from.
Almost like I was just clicking on there to.
Fucking and Bowie nailed it. Fucking white. And we're gonna go ahead and we're just gonna, John. I got low expectations on this. I gotta tell you, because I've been drinking.
Tell me about drinking.
So we're just gonna take our little By the way, Broken Toad brushes are fucking amazing.
I need to get some new brushes. Mine are dying a horrible death, and it's affecting me as I'm trying to paint the symbol on Venom's chest and wanting to throw my brushes across the room. I got a couple good ones, and even those are starting to get a little rough.
So I'm just going to come across the very high edges on this guy. And I'm just looking to emphasize where I think the light would be catching it. And I'm just trying to use a little bit of brush control here. And we're just gonna give it a little touch. The nice thing about the white ink, as opposed to like white paint, is white paint tends to dry very quickly.
It does, especially here.
And because this doesn't dry as fast, you have a lot more control as far as how this is going to go on. And I think that when this is finished, if I do a decent job, that it is going to allow me to really do just a quick glaze on this and just kind of nail it out. It's just going to kind of come together. And if you're
I was showing off my Venom chest in the meantime. It's gray yet. I haven't done white. Oh, let me let you see too. I'm Jesus. I'm terrible.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're just going to give this a little bit of love. I'm not sure that I'm doing a good job of presenting this to the camera.
No, you are. Actually, it's looking good.
Okay. And I'm just going to come
Thanks, buddy.
through here, and what I'm doing here is I'm just picking out the high spots. I'd be doing a better job here, John, if Kathy Wapple was with us, but she's decided that she has to do her own thing, and
Well, she's doing ReaperCon still, so.
Oh well, that's okay. I'm gonna give her a break on that. I was gonna bust her chops a little bit, but if she's doing ReaperCon, that means she's in it to win it at that point.
Well, I'm also going to show some other stuff for you there. Nothing really important, but I may have made a little purchase or so.
Oh yeah, what'd you get? Oh shit! Nice.
Yep. Skywarp and Thundercracker. And now I need to decide what to do with my other Thundercracker because I got the other one. The Cybertronian one that's the Tri-Fighter.
Nice.
Yeah, boy, those are a Target exclusive 2-pack.
So let me tell you about this white ink. Some observations. It is a lot easier to work with than white paint. I may never go back to white paint.
It's not easy to cover everything, and I think white paint would probably do just that better, but that may be the only thing.
I did.
But I'm going to get something. I'll find out.
I did do the white skin on Leadfoot. I've talked about my troll skin, I think a couple times on this show. And what that is it is a base coat of white. Pick your favorite poison. I used Morrow White many times. I've used, but on Leadfoot and Treads, I used white ink. And and then I go over it with a blue, and I believe I use Gilliman blue. Yeah, Gilliman blue, and then I come over the top of that with Drushi purple wash. And that gets me the effect I'm looking for. Now, the other thing that's interesting is I'll betcha that this is thin enough to be able to go into a rune and really make it stand out.
Really make it pop? That'd be, like I said, I'm going to pick up some anyways and figure out, take a look at it. Always looking for more white. Because honestly, the hardest part about, since I'm looking at him, because I was going to seal him, about doing, say, the smoke here on Star-Lord's base, is the white sometimes gets a little chalky when it's there, and it makes it a problem.
Yeah.
And also a problem with his shoulder pad and knee and shin pads that are a little off-white.
And I've never seen a problem with that, John. I've never seen a problem with chalkiness, which is interesting.
Yeah, but I like Morrow White too. I use it as a base coat usually for white, and you can be a little more lenient with your use of white if you have that underneath it, and it covers just a tiny bit better. Legionnaires asking a question. The color shifting paints. Yes, Legionnaires. I've tried some color shifting paints. I did an entire... Hold on. He's around here somewhere. If I can find him. Somewhere around here is an entire Stormcast I painted in color shifting paints. They are interesting, but you're really going to have to lean into it. They color shift pretty well, but you have to lose... A lot of the things you do to finish up the model won't work. You can't seal them, apparently. None of that stuff. They don't hold washes super well. So you really got to be careful and find the right color. It'd be good on bigger, flat parts, like, say, like the shoulder pads or carapace of a knight, like I have back here. Can I get them without breaking everything? I can. It's like something like these carapaces and all. It would look great on that because you got a large area for it to color shift on. You need to find that Stormcast? Jeez. It's not going to show up well. I can actually put it on my paint camera if I can find it. But I cleaned up recently, so I don't know where I put it. Give me a second here. John, you're going to have to vamp.
I'll vamp a little bit. It's not what I'm best at. Right now I'm trying to kind of outline this rune here using a very fine... I'm using a 000 on here, and what I'm hoping is that the combination of the more fluid nature of the ink is going to help me when it comes time to actually do the finishing of the color, because I do want a bright green on that rune. And so, I mean, here you have it, folks. I mean, this is... I'm going to just catch a few more places that I could probably use to put a little bit of a highlight. You know, if I'd used a little bit of a smaller brush, if I'd used this 000 on the whole thing rather than just these last little bits. But I think in general, I think that's going to present a very interesting palette to work from. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to while I'm still on this episode, because I want to make sure that you all get a chance to see what you can do with this. And while I've got a little bit of, I got some time here, and I've got some more of this ink here because I don't want to waste it. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just kind of touch up some of Butcher's muscles. I'm just going to give
Legionnaires, if you're using it in a little accent, you're mostly gonna get the one color. You're not gonna get much of the shifting, and that's where the major problem is. Sometimes you don't get a ton of the shifting. Actually, Group A did not do a gloss top coat on them. Actually, it's just that it's really hard to show off the shifting in camera. You only get little hints of it sometimes. There's been a lot of stuff done to these guys. I was testing them. This shoulder pad probably gets the best shifting, and some colors work better than others. This one's okay. It's called 3D. It shifts sort of to that from blue to sort of the red, like 3D, and it's okay. They're interesting colors, but if you have a model, it's going to do a lot more. Like this has got a lot of cloth, and I've been obviously fucking with that detracts from the glossiness. Like if you do a Space Marine in it, that would look a lot better. If you did like this car in it, it would look a lot better. If you have a large surface area, it's going to look better than on a small surface area. Like when I'm looking at it, I can get a little hints of it on parts of it, but it's very hit or miss. And you have to be careful what you do over it. So
I'm going to be interested to see how this turns out. I mean, this is very experimental on my part. And I might be overemphasizing some of this a little bit. But we'll see.
Show off some other stuff I'm painting while I got the camera up. It doesn't really show up too well, but
nice.
Yeah, I actually like the shoulder's got his coat arms there. I did a little bit of this as well. I just did a little like yellow dots on it to make it give the impression that there's something else there. What if I can get it to focus a little better? So I get it to focus in here. Hard to get it there. I don't know where exactly it aims. Yeah, so hard to get that to look up. So, Bowie wants to know: are you using that white to help with the zenithal?
Yes. So this is a next step in when Seth taught me about how to do zenithal shading and stuff like that. What he did do was a next layer SketchUp, and the problem I'm having here is that this is so bright compared to what I did with the zenithal, is that I feel like it's going to stick out too much.
It may. That's the problem. There was an old back in the day. We used to take models and we would instead of actual zenithal highlighting, we'd do black. We would do a dark gray, heavy dry brush, and then go like a light gray, medium dry brush, and then a white, like light dry brush to make the washes work. Sort of like zenithal idea, but it's just for models who are trying to wash real quick.
Yep. So I'm just gonna, guys, this is a journey this is a model that's a bit of a journey, and we're just gonna have some fun with it. And if it's a happy accident, it's a happy accident. And we're not going to get too clutched up about it. I feel like I should probably...
Oh.
I could probably two-brush blend it a little bit, maybe.
I didn't even notice. It's Ursus the Chained is his name.
Yeah.
And you can thank some guy named Christopher Miller for popping that in the Facebook chat, which I wasn't
Hey! Mr. Chris Miller. Give him a high five for me.
He can hear you. So.
Oh, well, high five. So I'm going to take and I'm going to actually, I don't know, I'm going to try this a little bit. I'm just going to put a little bit of a glaze of Cardic flesh on this guy, just to see how he turns out. I mean, just in general, let's get a little feel for where it's headed.
Let's be honest, flesh is one of the hardest things to paint.
Yeah, well, let's see. Let's just see how it turns out. I think that this is probably
I'll just skip the
okay.
business.
I'm going to give him the business. There's no two ways about that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and we're going to
beef him a little bit.
What's that?
After you're done, you can beef him a little bit.
Yeah. If worse comes to worse, he'll just take the love of the beef. and we're just gonna kind of come up here and we're gonna give them a little bit of the business here. As you can see, we're just and this is yep. I just did a crappy job on this, is what it boils down to, and that's fine. The stripes are far too strong, and I'm just learning, guys. You gotta try sometimes, and
You gotta challenge yourself. It's like I was painting Venom, and I'm like, I did what is it called? Hold on. I did coal black, and I'm like, should I black wash it or use the black foundation or black contrast paint? And Gonzo's like, yeah, you should use black wash. We don't know how the contrast paint works. So I use the contrast paint instead because we don't know how it's going to work. Let's fucking find out.
Yep.
To be fair, it's not like I really care about Venom. I mean, I'll play him, but he ain't like a character I'm excessively fond of or anything. He's mostly so I got another person for the Spider team because I want Gwen and Miles to go with regular Spidey because that's where it's fucking at. Holy crap. That's a hell of a link, Ruby. Is that safe? Fuck it, I'll find out. Oh, shit, yeah. That is legit, sir. That is legit. It is very Urple. It is. And those gems, especially the ones in the chest, that center one in particular, legit as shit, sir. Legit as shit.
Yeah, super not satisfied.
Well, back to older techniques, I mean.
Yep. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add a little bit more color density with the Cardic, and we are going to we'll fix this with some beef.
You painted old school.
Yep. We're just going to beef this. We'll beef it later.
So, John, I find that funny just because there's an old MechWarrior Online streamer who's named The Beef, and he is hilarious.
Well, I mean, at least we're invoking somebody awesome.
Yes. Oh, yeah, that's a much better link, and I think it's the same picture. Oh, shit. That's Sword. John, you gotta take a look at some of these links when you're done.
I will.
They are super legit. Actually, Legionnaires, we don't know where the beef is. We haven't seen him in a while. Bam, deflected your joke with reality. It's only because I'm drunk.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the idea, folks, is that you could use white ink to do some white ink to do some real high highlights, or use it as a substitute for Marl white in some cases. But long story short, this didn't work. This was an experiment.
But you got to be careful with it. Sometimes it's going to end up a little too much. I mean, we've all done highlights that are a little excessive.
Yeah, I think it would. In this case, it might have worked out better if I was doing something more mechanical.
Yes.
Where it was
flesh is never quite as harsh as that as far as tones go.
Yep. Or maybe if I diluted it perhaps a little bit so there wasn't such a stark color. But it's all in all, I think it worked out okay. Because I was able to. We're gonna let that skin dry a little bit before I come back with a little bit more Cardic flesh on it. Only just because I want to give it the chance to see where I didn't get quite so nuts about it. It's like on his finger bones. It's turning out quite nice.
That is what we call proof of concept, sir.
Yeah, well, it's a journey of discovery.
Yeah, and it's important. You even if part of it messes up. You paint models like that whole Stormcast I painted. I'm like, yeah, he didn't come out great, but it's proof of concept for a lot of different things. I know how that paint works now.
Yep.
And then I tried some other stuff on him, and you can make some cool decisions.
And at the end of the day, folks, it's about just trying your best. You learn a couple things, you apply that to the next model down the line. I mean, I've got 5 display cases. Says this has been a long journey,
and it ain't over yet. We're
No.
still going. So.
No, of course not. It's not over yet. And remotely over.
So, John, I want to point out that I'm actually close to 100% painted for Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Good on you, buddy. Man, I can tell you what, that is a wonderful accomplishment from you. For all the years that we were working together on the OG version of this show, not so much painting got done. but you have really turned the corner on that, and you're getting a lot of stuff painted.
Oh, and in the 2-week period we were off, I did pass 1,000 days hobby streak.
That's a thing.
It's been good. I will honestly say stuff like podcasting and that is part of the stuff that keeps me sane right now.
Well, then, by God, I'm happy to help be an antidepressant for you every couple Wednesdays.
Absolutely. Less depressant, more like just like
Anti-dread?
getting overwhelmed. You know, you get overwhelmed by stuff.
You do.
Feel too much. People think at work they like John doesn't react to anything. I do. It's just all on the inside. I think when I get home.
All right, so what we're going to do here is we're going to let this guy dry a little bit. Because what I have noticed in the past, when I've gotten to a point like this with a model, sometimes it is good to let it dry and then come back and take that same paint I have been working and just use a dry brush on it.
Okay.
And then, it smooths a lot of stuff out. Like on his belly. His belly right now, I think, is ready for it. And we're just going to give it a little bit of... Just feather it.
So I'm going to take those links, John, so we don't lose them in case the chat keeps going.
Yep.
And I'm gonna message them to you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. That's why I'm the best, right?
You are the best. You are the best in the business. Ain't nobody got a mighty right hand like I got.
Make that a Starbucks flavor, the antidepressant bold blend. Look, if they had coffee like that, I'd drink it. And I don't drink coffee.
So, all right. So here what we're going to do now is not because I'm doing a little bit of a dry brush technique. I'm just going to take it right out of the old pot of roux. And we're just going to give it a little bit of the business over there. And we're just going to come back here and just give it a touch of fudge. Just a touch of fudge.
It's funny because people think that as they get more painting techniques that they won't do stuff like dry brush roll because it's sloppy. I'm like, no, it's just all another weapon in your arsenal of painting.
Yep,
there are times when it's the right call.
Yep, and I can see right now I'm gonna have to beef this guy pretty hard.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would say the times I've painted flesh and it did not need a good beefing is almost never.
I'm gonna beef him so fucking hard. I'm gonna give him the beef he's never had. All right, so we're just gonna keep on going here with a little bit of that. Just kind of, we're gonna beef it. No, we're not beefing. We're giving it a dry brush. We're giving it, I don't know, a thing that needs to be dried. So we're gotta put a little bit on his hands here. Almost looks like he's got a glove on, so we're not gonna exaggerate that too much. And there you go. So that's it. I'm not gonna screw any further than that with him. I think I'm just gonna give him his flesh tones here. And that didn't take very much time. It really didn't. And when you think about it, what does he have left? He's got a pair of drawers. By the way, Butch wears a union suit. He's got a butt flap.
Oh.
So you're dry brushing to hide brush strokes? Yeah, for the most part. Where it didn't necessarily go on as smooth as I would have otherwise liked, Legionnaires. What I found is I can come back with just a little dry brush of that base color, especially if I haven't mixed it, and just you can go fast enough with it that you hide a lot of sins. And as you can see, his skin is a lot smoother now, as far as its coloration. You can't. Well, it's not a classic dry brush technique.
No, but still.
But it works for me.
I think some people call it a wet brush, technically.
Mm-hmm.
As funny as it sounds, but yeah.
Yeah. What time is it? 7:58. We're getting close. So just so you know, guys, this is going to turn out a lot better with this high marks on it, because what I'm going to do is the next step of this is I'm going to take a gray color, probably like a gray coat gray perhaps, or a bastion gray. And I'm gonna glaze it on all the rock, and then we're gonna see what it looks like. And the worst comes to worse, I come back and I dry brush it with a little bit of frostbite, which is the classic combination for stone. You do a light gray with the frostbite, you get a very nice edge. And if nothing else, what will happen is this white that's on here when I dry brush it with it'll just look like it's like feathered out a little bit. It's gonna be fine. Of that, I'm pretty certain.
Okay.
Yep. And then so what I'm gonna do then is I'm also gonna wash these with like a purple, a green, and a yellow to give them a real splash of color on here. And then this door is going to be my kind of my normal golds, which is a Rulic gold washed with the what the fuck is it called? The sepia, not sepia. The Reichland Flesh Shade. And then I come back, and then I will pick up the high spots with a true gold color. Like I like to use the what is this, Vallejo Game Color Diablo polished gold, and that just boom, it makes everything pop. That's the golds that
I actually like using Agrax on gold too. It gives it a good deep tone.
Yeah,
especially if you plan on dry brushing it afterwards.
Yep, that's another awesome way to do it. What I did on this one, you can't see it on the camera very well, is after I did all of that gold work, I came back with a little bit of that the technical paint, the nickel oxide, just to give it that little bit of a tarnished gold, brass color to it, the copper, because it's a boiler and yada yada yada. So
yeah,
you really can't see it on here, but I did the lens on. There's like a little rangefinder here, and I did do the arcane blue with a little bit of white, a little white dot on it, to give it that sort of lens flare-ish kind of look, and that's very effective.
That J.J. Abrams look.
So
sorry.
So Butch is on his way. I've got this thing here, which tomorrow, I mean, I'm on vacation all week, so I'm probably going to come back and I'm probably going to finish that stone tomorrow. Probably finish Butch tomorrow. And guys, I can't say enough positive things about the old Riot Quest. Highly recommend you give it a shot. If you know somebody that's got some, give it a try. You might find that it'll scratch that itch for miniatures game that maybe you haven't had. There's nothing serious about it. Nothing. You're a bunch of idiots running around shooting each other and looking for treasure. How much fun is that?
Yeah, something freeing about a game that's a little more RNG.
Yeah.
You know, if something that happens, then just have a good time.
I mean, Chuck gets that silly hand thing, and then it's like, if I don't do something about this, I'm just gonna lose. And that's fine. It all of a sudden, that little piece of Riot gear changes the flow of the game. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So here we are, folks. We are at the we've pushed past the 60-minute mark of the Painting with Menoth John Wednesday night extravaganza. A lot of people aren't prepared for this level of entertainment on a week-by-week basis, John. They're just not.
They're not.
They're not. I mean, they look in the mirror and they go to themselves, I'm not sure that I can handle that.
Oh, you can handle it, guys. We know.
We're here.
Tests.
Yeah, well, we're here to walk you through those kind of issues. If you lack confidence, show up to the Wednesday night extravaganza. We're gonna give you the kind of confidence you need to face a global pandemic head on, and then put a mask on it. There you go.
Wear a fucking mask.
Yep, wear a fucking mask. It's not for you, god damn it. Not everything is about you. It's about the people you're gonna save.
It's for everyone.
Yeah.
Like I tell people, like if it was just gonna be me catch it, and that's it, maybe sometimes I'd be a little lazy, wouldn't. But I don't ever want to be the cause of someone else's sickness or death.
And I'm here to tell you, John, you don't want it.
Not fair.
I've had it. You don't want it. So anyway, let's move on over to the media section, folks. There's at least there's the potential that hundreds of thousands of people would be interested in what we're about to say. There is that potential. There's
always that potential, yes.
Yeah, they just don't know about it yet. Yes, you do not want to be down with the sickness. This is very true.
Not even if it's the Richard Cheese version.
Ooh, ah! Anyway, there you go. So, folks, we have an exciting media section for you today, I'm assuming.
Yeah, John watched a ton of stuff.
So, John, do you want to lead off, or should I lead off?
Sure, I can lead off.
Lead off.
So I watched, specifically for this cast, since I only watched a couple episodes of Clone Wars Season 4, and it was mediocre.
Mediocre.
So we'll save that for next time. I'll plan to have at least half the season done for next time, and maybe even further than that. We'll see how far we get. But I took a little siesta after the mediocrity of it, and I'm like, let's change it up to something else. So I watched the epitome of sort of like cult classics type of movie. Cult classics or '90s movie. Very weird, very out there. Stars Bruce Willis. Maybe you know the movie I'm talking about, John?
Cult classic, Bruce Willis, Fifth Element comes immediately to mind.
I knew you'd say that it's not the Fifth Element. This one's a little more comedy. I'm talking about Hudson Hawk.
Oh, Hudson Hawk, you say. There you go.
So Hudson Hawk, Bruce Willis is playing the titular character, Eddie Hudson Hawk. Named after, of course, the Hudson River and the cold wind that blows off of it in the winter. And he's a cat burglar. He's the best cat burglar. They say that specifically. But he got caught. He comes out of jail. He just wants to get a cappuccino. That's all he wants, is a cappuccino.
I don't blame him. Cappuccino's a nice thing to have.
And he's picked up in the prison by Tommy Tutone, played wonderfully by Danny Aiello. And the whole thing progresses from there, where, his crooked the crooked officer who's watching him as he's out of prison is trying to get him to rob stuff. The local crime family's trying to get him to rob the same stuff. So eventually he does that, and he does it with flair. He and Tommy Tutone, instead of using any sort of timepiece to keep their time, they sing a song. Okay. And you might say it's cheesy as fuck. It is, but it's also very hilarious.
Cool.
For the first one, they do Swinging on a Star, which is, it's a hoot. And let me tell you, since Kathy Wobble watched this recently and got it stuck on my head because I love this movie, Danny Aiello, much better singer than Bruce Willis.
Really?
Yes, much better. And Bruce Willis has a band, but I think you'll see some of those older actors were much better singers, much more multi-talented. But the whole thing goes on from there to be this whole... they sell it in the media act. It's obviously about Leonardo da Vinci's Macchina d'Oro, or Gold Machine for those of you at home.
Okay.
And a whole plot to get all this stuff to put that together. And it's sold in the early thing. Also this movie's from the fucking 90s. I'm not spoiling the damn thing. And every part of this movie, it just gets crazier and crazier as you go. Every villain is just sort of batshit crazy. It gets silly. It gets hilarious. It's just a hoot to watch. It's got a great cast. James Coburn in it, just a ton of people just going all in. They are all chewing scenery, and they're all taking the movie the proper amount of serious, which is not really at all. Excellent. And it's just fun enough. It's a good ride. It gets a lot of bad press. They did not do well in the theaters at all. But I'm here to tell you, it is a fun movie. Danny Aiello and Bruce Willis have great chemistry together. You feel like they've been friends for a while. It's just enjoyable.
And the verdict is?
It's you get a one shot at cracking because you want to loosen yourself up a little bit, because it is, again, a little crazy. There are points where you're like, can you handle this? Yeah, okay, let's keep going.
So I will tell you, I've never seen Hudson Hawk. And your review of it just now has inspired me to make that for our movie of the week on Saturday.
Awesome. It's a hoot. Even my ex roomie, I was not sure Creekins would like it, but even Creekins enjoyed the crap out of that movie.
Fantastic. Well, if it's got Bruce Willis and it's got an all-star cast and it's silly and fun, I'm all in.
Yeah, it is sort of like The Fifth Element in an earlier form and a little more action comedy sort of thing.
Cool.
Where you're like, this shouldn't work, but somehow for a lot of people, it just works.
Yeah. Cool. Fantastic. I'm here to tell you I've got two shows that I want to talk about tonight. They are series, and I will not spoil any of them during the course of my reviews. We're going to start off with The Umbrella Academy. The Umbrella Academy is on Netflix, and it is it's an adaptation of a graphic novel series. And basically the Umbrella Academy, the premise that starts the show is that there's an eccentric millionaire who children are born across the globe all at the same time, and they have special abilities. And he brings a half a dozen of them. I think seven of them underneath the roof all at the same time. Seven of the parents sell their children to this eccentric millionaire, and he raises them, and works on them to enhance their powers and learns how to control them and things like that. And it all goes sideways.
As it does.
It does, and there's schisms in the family, and they're typical kind of they're all kind of superheroes at a very young age and unable to handle it and stuff. 5 is pretty amazing, and the premise of the show is that the apocalypse is at hand, and one of the kids has the ability normally to basically teleport places. Well, he learns that he can also teleport in time as well. And he discovers that the apocalypse is at hand. And it turns out there's an organization out there managing the timeline. And conflict arises between the Umbrella Academy and the organization that manages time. And Mary J. Blige puts in a performance as one of the time managers that is breathtaking.
That's the second time I've heard that.
She as the character of Cha-Cha is tremendous. Hazel and Cha-Cha might be my 2 favorite characters in the show. And Hazel is this big, tall, heavy-set white guy with a beard who's far more eloquent than he has any business being. He's got a good heart in his soul. And they're in charge of making sure the timeline goes forward. And part of that timeline's the goddamn apocalypse. And it is a wonderful, twisted, awesome show full of really bent superheroes. And that's going to be a theme on tonight's show of shows that I watched that feature bent superheroes. Umbrella Academy it takes a lot for me to get emotionally involved in characters these days. And I care about every one of the members of the Umbrella Academy. They are all flawed and terrible and awesome, and you root for them at every turn. It's a wonderfully written, smartly acted. Every one of the characters, I thoroughly enjoyed watching them on the screen. I've completed season 1. I'm halfway through season 2. Season 2 has an amazing social commentary going on, especially relevant in today's world where racial inequity is so prevalent, and it shows us how little we have progressed in literally 60 years, which is very difficult to watch as a white male, and makes you take a good hard look at yourself and what you stand for. It all the time entertaining the shit out of you. So I would give Umbrella Academy one shot, unless you're watching Klaus, and then you probably need one shot and a hit of LSD. And so it is wonderful. Totally, absolutely recommend the Umbrella Academy on Netflix.
All right, John. Well, my second movie is sort of a cult classic. It's got sort of an all-star cast. The main star is Bruce Willis.
Got a Bruce Willis theme going on tonight.
This is random, actually, and it is also not The Fifth Element.
Okay. He's done other movies?
This is much more action-y than The Fifth Element and much more recent.
Okay.
I am talking about Red, or Retired Extremely Dangerous.
Oh my God, Red's amazing. Holy shit. Red and Red 2 are amazing.
I was hemming and hawing on Amazon, like, I don't know what to watch. I'm sitting here ready to eat my food, and I'm like,
holy shit, Red's
right there, I'm like, I own it. I could literally go grab the DVD, and I'm like, it's right there. I just watch it.
Yep.
It is a hoot. It is all the things I said on Hudson Hawk, just with a couple minor exceptions. I don't sing any songs.
Yeah.
The action is just like that. It is batshit crazy at points.
John Malkovich.
John Malkovich
steals the movie.
In that movie.
Oh my god, he's so good in that
And
movie.
then the only opposite side is the main villain, technically speaking, is Richard Dreyfuss, and he is lackluster.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything to it. I don't even remember him.
He is the only one in the movie that seems to be taking it. He's trying to be like, oh, this is shit, and I'm just going to do whatever. Well, everyone else is all in. Morgan Freeman's all in. John Malkovich is double all in. Helen Mirren's all in. Brian Cox is all in. Fucking Bruce Willis is solid in it.
Yeah.
I mean, but there's so many people in there. There's Carl Urban is fucking great in it. Ernest Borgnine's in it for 12 seconds.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Carl Urban is a segue to my next review.
Awesome. And so Red is absolutely great.
So
if you have
good.
not seen it, you should see it. I would love to give it a shot at Kraken. You kind of shot at Kraken at a couple scenes where the action gets really crazy. Mostly there's one scene on after they land at an airport and it gets a little weird, or they're at an airfield, gets a little weird, and the action gets a little crazy. But that's the only point. Everything else is a little more close to real, but it is a hoot from start to finish.
Yep.
Almost all the actors put up a great performance. You enjoy the crap out of it. If they'd just gotten someone besides Richard Dreyfuss to be that main villain, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah, he phoned it in pretty hard. But
He doesn't really down it. I can't down it for him.
yeah.
It's it could have been better. It's a hair shy of a perfect movie.
John Malkovich's star shines
Oh my
so bright in that
God,
movie. He's so perfect for that movie.
he's laid it on perfectly.
Yeah.
So
So
they all do when they get their chance to shine. Every single one of the main cast, when they get their chance, just that's really awesome.
it's just every now and again John Malkovich shows up and it's just so he's just so
You watch
nuts.
him in the background of scenes where he's not the main. He's
Yeah.
still hilarious.
Yeah, he's just hilarious. He's just everything he does is just so his character's a little bent. Just I'm gonna put that out there. He's just batshit crazy.
Great.
He's really batshit crazy. But
I mean,
anyway,
we forget because he's not doing anything right now. How great John Malkovich is in pretty much everything he's ever in.
he is one of the greatest actors of his generation. He's just
Absolutely
fantastic.
So he can put serious stuff through, like Man in the Iron Mask is great in that as well.
Yeah.
Which is one of the few serious ones I've seen him in, to be honest. And then he can go and he can drop this, or he can be the bad guy in Aragon for 12 seconds and still be great.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. Highly recommend Red. Get out there, watch it. And Red 2 is really good too. If you haven't watched
I
Red
haven't
2,
seen Red 2 yet. I'm waiting for it to be free or something.
it's wonderful.
I've heard more mixed reviews on it. A lot of people told me it's awesome. Some people were like, it's crap. I'm like, oh, that's...
It's got John Malkovich in it. It's not crap. It is just as it's not as perfect as Red is, but it is sure as hell a lot of fun.
Awesome.
Which we mentioned Carl Urban. So there's a few actors out there that I can literally I could sit and watch them read the phone book and I'd be totally cool with it. I mean, and Carl Urban is one of those actors.
He's
Carl Urban.
He's willing to do whatever it takes for the role, and whatever role he's in, he's great.
He never phones it in. His portrayal of McCoy in the reboot Star Treks, I think, are
so good.
He eclipses the original in my mind. I prefer Carl Urban.
That's hard to say, but I mean, I can't propose a good enough argument against that.
Yeah. So my second pick for tonight is The Boys. The Boys is showing on Amazon. It is a series that basically the premise of it is that superheroes are now work for a company. They're corporate, and their marketing is handled in a corporate manner. Everything is, if you've ever been a part of any type of a company that has a strong marketing presence, which I've worked in marketing companies that happen to make food for the last 30 years. And I've met with enough marketing people that some of the scenes resonate a little too close to home. But the superheroes work for a marketing company, a media company, and they're out saving lives. The opening scene, this cast is a tour de force. The guy that plays one of the titular heroes is the guy that plays, and I don't know his name. He's the one that's in it's a show where he is like ending up being a murderer or something like that, and he's a comedian or something like that, or an actor, an amateur actor. I forget what the guy's name is. Anyway, his girlfriend gets accidentally dusted by a superhero who's running. His name's A-Train, and she gets blown up by he accidentally running through her. And that you see him holding her hands, and that's all that's left of her. Is that everything else has been ripped to shreds. Carl Urban plays a character named what's his name? Regardless, he plays a character who's looking to expose these soups, as they're called, for what they are, which are overly entitled, hyper. They're nuts. They're terrible, terrible, terrible people, and he's trying to expose them. And he's working, and the power
Billy
of
Butcher.
Billy Butcher, yep, Billy Butcher, and these soups wield an incredible amount of power because they are not only superheroes who are vindictive and evil and not okay, but they have a corporation behind them who is evil and vindictive and has lots of money and doesn't give a fuck and are just terrible. But they've got everybody buffaloed. They are completely riding on their reputation. Carl Urban, for the first time that I've ever seen him, is allowed to use his natural accent. And it is magical. He does a great job as Billy Butcher. He's kind of getting the gang back together. I'm not going to give anything away on this. After this show wraps up, I'm going to go watch the last episode in season 1. There's a wonderful side story with this gal that is a superhero as well. Her and how she gets brought into this organization of the Seven, which are these 7 big superheroes, because she's got an amazing. She's a little bit like Captain Marvel in her abilities. She's almost that OP. And her introduction to the Seven is she's in a meeting with the Deep, and it's only her and the Deep, which is off-brand Aquaman. And she admits to him that she had a schoolgirl crush on him, to which he immediately drops trowel and exposes himself to her. Like full frontal nudity, all up in her. And then tells her that he's the second in command of the 7, and either she gives him a blowjob or he will have them get rid of her. So straight up sexual harassment, straight up rape immediately in this show. And it's like, okay, so this is dark and it's horrible, but this goes on every day in corporations. This kind of crap is how women have been treated for decades, centuries. And this is and now they're amping it up to the superhero level. Everyone is flawed. Everyone is there's a lot of evil people, but I really enjoy watching this show. It is not for kids at all, like not even a little bit. And but I highly recommend it for you brushheads out there watching it. The Boys, it's on the Amazon Primes. Yeah, highly recommend it. John, have you had an opportunity or an interest in watching this?
I've been told by a lot of people it's probably not my jam.
Okay.
If I get a little time, I might try and watch an episode or two, see if maybe, But I've been told that it's just not my jam.
Then don't.
I'm scarred by the '90s Iron Age of comics. That was totally this all the time. So sometimes that stuff hits me wrong.
Fair enough. Then don't watch it, and that's fine. These I am watching this only to see the Homelander get his. The Homelander
That's
needs
something we can all
to
get behind.
get.
Someone getting their comeuppance.
He needs to get his. The deep has already gotten his, and at the end of season 1, he's having a bad time, and I'm okay with that. Too much deconstruction at a time. It's possible.
Okay.
I can see that.
Yeah.
But
It might just be a mood thing after I get to the right mood. There's a lot of things hit me mood wise because I watch a lot of things and I'm like, haha, that could never happen. And then 2020 happened. I'm like, oh, that's not funny anymore.
I think Carl Urban is turning in a really great performance.
It's just so. I mean, he is great and everything. He is the best. If you've ever seen Doom, the Doom movie, he's the best part of that movie easily. There are points where literally he can emote so much with just his eyes, not say a damn thing. That is great. Dredd is great, very much partially because of him and his lack of ego. He's like, I can go through a whole movie without taking a helmet off. Carl Urban is great. I'm here to tell you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just Jack Quaid is the name of the character, the name of the actor. His character is Huey Campbell. Jack Quaid's
which I saw that he is actually the brother of Elizabeth Shue, and they're both Dennis Quaid's offspring, which is interesting.
And he does a great job. He's got this sort of like geeky guy that comes of age thing nailed down. Oh my God, he's Dennis Quaid's and Meg Ryan's kid. How about that?
Yeah.
How about
That's cool to see.
Erin Moriarty does a great job as what the hell's her character's name? Annie, but her superhero name is different. It's dark. Elizabeth Shue is dark in this show, but she is that ruthless corporate person you've met. Oh my God, she's just amazing. Anyway, so I recommend it if you like that kind of thing. Yes, Carl Urban was the best Dredd, the only Dredd that shall be discussed.
I am the law.
God, Carl Urban is so good as Dredd in that movie. That's a great Dredd movie.
It is. It's a great movie in general, and it did not get enough love.
No.
It should have gotten more.
Absolutely.
Carl Urban's got this thing where he does so good in some things, and they just don't get the love they deserve.
Yep.
The Dredd movie, the TV show Almost Human, if you watch that.
Yeah. Oh.
That deserves so much better. It deserved to be aired in order. Fuck you, companies. Air in order. Sorry.
One last thing before we sign off for the night. I have started watching Raised by Wolves.
Which I've heard about, too. There is one more thing, John, we forgot to mention. It's important.
Do it.
The trailer to Dune?
Oh, God, yeah, we got to talk about it. We mentioned that in the pre-show. The trailer for Dune came out. It's interesting, John. I have mixed feelings about it.
I have a little mixed feelings. I mean, I'm in, but I have a little mixed feelings as well. And I love the movie from the 80s. I love the 80s movie that it came out.
Mm-hmm.
I unabashedly love it. I saw the extended version on the Sci-Fi Channel, which for someone who has never read Dune is a godsend because it explains all this stuff that you're like, you don't necessarily ask the questions during the movie because it does a good job of it, but you're sort of like, yeah, hey, what about that?
Yeah. So here's where I'm at with the trailer because as I've gotten older, I've enjoyed the David Lynch Dune more.
Yes.
The
Bad movie. I'm here to tell you, not a bad movie.
It's not bad. It's hard to watch sometimes, but it's not bad.
It's flawed, and you definitely got to be in for it. You got to be like, I've got this box of wings and Dune movie. I'm going.
Yep. So here's the deal with the trailer.
Rich?
Here's the deal with the trailer. Oh, hey, Rich. I just ordered the book Dune because I've never read it. So, Rich, I'm going to give you a heads up on the book because Belinda and I had this discussion earlier tonight. The book is challenging because it comes with a glossary in the back of the book, and it's totally critical because Herbert was so impressed with his writing, he decided to write the book in a different language to a certain extent. And it's all in the back. It's all heavily Arabic influenced, as one might expect. And it is a mouthful to read. So I'm going to give you a thumbs up on because that. But do yourself a favor and stop after Dune and don't read too much further. Dune is fine. They get not fine really fast, and just move on from there. But the go ahead, John.
I do want to say I've heard because you used to listen to a podcast called '80s All Over, where they reviewed every '80s movie, week by week or month by month. Like it came out this month, we review it. They had to stop because that's a monumental task by the end.
Yeah.
But they got through Dune, and they said that part of the reason it did poorly is because when the Dune movie came out, it had a glossary that the ticket agents would give to the people buying the tickets.
Yeah.
So they would be like, I'm not in for this, and they would eject and watch another sci-fi movie that came out that same week called 2010.
Yep. Which 2010 is a really fun movie.
Also a good movie.
Yeah.
It is, dare I say, a more enjoyable movie
100%.
than 2001, if not as deep necessarily overall.
Oh, 2010 is 1,000 times more approachable than 2001 and way more entertaining. 2001 is a more pure intellectual exercise, but it is, anyway. So let's get back to Dune, our review of the trailer. So here's my mixed feelings about it. I've watched the David Lynch movie maybe a handful of times, maybe 5 or 6 times.
Easily a dozen.
Yeah.
Easily more.
Yep. And then I watched the trailer and I went, we're not moving the dial at all. This is just recast. And
they've punched up a lot of things, but yes, a lot of it's recast and restylized a tiny bit.
Tiny bit.
It's going less 40K, if you will, and a little more. Let's go away from grimdark and make it its own sort. Make it more standard sci-fi-ish things, and not so grimdarky.
It felt less grimdark. It felt more. It was more geometric. All they did was sharpen the edges on things. It felt like, and I'm like, I looked at they in the trailer they feature the shield fight, where they've got the shield belts on, and I'm like, I'm not sure this is more effective.
I don't think so either. I think the way they did it in the movie in the 80s really hammered home the point of the shield better.
Yes, and it's if you're going to remake a movie, that means you have a vision for that movie that is different enough to justify spending that kind of money that you can say, you know what, I can do that better. And here's how I can do it better. Jodorowsky, he never made his movie, but it was a different take. It would
the movie on him trying to make his movie is
amazing.
A fucking thing.
Yeah, I would rather have had someone spend the money to make Jodorowsky's Dune, even if it had failed, just to see that vision happen. Now, I'm not sure that vision could happen because Jodorowsky was certifiably fucking insane. But he had a vision.
I think nowadays he could have made something truly singular.
Singular. Unapproachable as shit, but singular.
Yes.
The problem I have with this remake, I got 2 problems. One, I didn't see it moving the dial appreciably enough for me. The second thing was the choice of the music. I did not need a jacked up version of Pink Floyd's Dark Side of the Moon as the music for Dune. That doesn't make sense for me.
So, I totally agree with the not moving the dial. My second complaint was not about the music because Dark Side of the Moon is my absolute favorite Pink Floyd song.
Love the entire album. And
I love the take they did on it, and it hit me differently than you because
Yeah, we're in a different place there.
The thing that got me is, don't the mains, and the mains being the ones who probably could be followed if it became a franchise, don't they seem a little YA in this one? Like a
Oh,
little
yeah.
YA in it. Got a little feel of that. A little, not too much.
Is it? Maybe it's a little. Maybe it's a little too Twilight.
I don't think it's. I think it's aimed for people who are a little younger, so they could make a like when Dune came out, you weren't going to make a franchise out of it. The number of successful franchises could be counted on one hand.
Yeah.
Really. So they weren't looking to make a franchise. This, I think, they're aiming for franchise. Really, like, let's get some people who are young who we could play for years and get some of that Marvel Cinematic Universe type of money going.
How old is Paul Atreides in Dune? He's
Well,
not old. He's not old in Dune. He's just coming of
The
age.
actor who plays him has a good baby face, but he's a little old for, I think, how old he's supposed to be.
Because if I remember right, Paul Atreides at the time of Dune is probably 13, 14 years old.
Hold on.
All right, this is real-time fucking research, guys. You know, you can go to other podcasts about painting and not find anybody doing
15 years old.
15. So,
He's 15 years old. God, Google is fucking amazing.
yeah. So,
So obviously, what's his name who played in Twin Peaks is too old for that role.
he was too old. Absolutely too old for that role.
This is much closer to that age, so it's a little close to source material, but I wonder if they're trying to get some of that YA money and they're trying too hard to set up a franchise.
Possibly.
That being said, I'm still in.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it.
I'm not in a physical theater. Fuck that right now.
Yeah.
I'm in for, like, video on demand or release after COVID's over.
Yep. I mean, I will not go to... I'll not go to a movie theater until COVID is, under 1% infection. I can't take that chance, but...
It's not worth it. Not for a movie.
No.
It'll be... This just in. It's recorded. I can watch it.
Yep. Which, it's... Congratulations, you reached 100 messages today in the Restream chat. Yay!
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 That's 2 in a row.
Woohoo!
That's a streak, sir.
Yeah, we've had a good constant bunch of viewers today. So thanks everybody that came to watch the show today. Thank you so much. I'm about ready to pump a couple bucks at Restream just so that I can interact with Facebook. We'll see, because I can't see their chats up on the
Holy
Restream
crap,
chat.
they came in late. Kirk came in late. Cop and say hi, the boys. Ron to the Green Street, Ohio. Take care, stay safe. Thanks, Kirk.
For everybody that's on Facebook, I appreciate you watching, but I can't see that your interactions. So I'll see if I can scrape together a couple bucks to feed.
It's only ever been 2 people at once, me and somebody else. I just, unfortunately, am slightly inebriated and was not thinking about going in there too often.
It's all good.
When we get into it, I'm not really thinking about it.
Yep. So anyway,
Maybe I'll get my 2 monitors set up so I can do it in stereo.
Perfect. So I give the trailer for Dune a cautiously optimistic.
Cautious optimistic, definitely.
Yep. All right.
It is the right.
So we're gonna go ahead and we're well over 90 minutes at this point.
Oh yeah, we gave you guys so much content.
Fucking bonus material, bitches.
And I would give a shout out if any of my Urbanomics 101 unit is watching after the fact. I want to give them a good Ron.
So if you would like to get 100 Menoth John reward gold points, if you can put in the chat below in the comments on YouTube what city this is on that monitor. If you get it right, I will give you 1,000 golden Menoth John reward points, which if you consult your membership handbook, you'll know what you can get for that. So what city is that right here on this monitor? Put it in the comments. Until next week. I'll reveal it on the next show. That's because that's how I am. Anyway, so on behalf of the mighty right hand of the podcast, you know him, you love him. He is Mr. John Spencer. I am, of course, Menoth John. We're going to see you here in 2 weeks on Wednesday. We'll see how this has been your Wednesday night addiction, Painting with Menoth John. Good night, everybody.
Good night. Wear your fucking mask.
Washy, washy. Washy, washy.
We gotta remake that into a song.
Washy, washy. Washy, washy. Washy, washy.